Hello, and welcome to another Craig and Dave Unscripted. God, you can tell it's getting close to Christmas. Craig and Dave Unscripted, and yes, well, happy Christmas. Yeah, you hadn't guessed, got the old Christmas jumpers out. Feels a little bit more snug than I remember, Dave. It must have shrunk while in the cupboard over the last year.
Oh, I think mine's a little bit loose.
Oh,
no, of course it's not.
no swearing. Right. So, yes, our last episode before Christmas. Then we're going to take a bit of a break. We'll be back on the 10th of January. So we're going to do a little recap on just the last year in Craig and Dave, what we've done. But before we dive into that, I'm going to pass to Dave because Dave loves doing the shout outs. I do as well, but Dave enjoys them so much. I believe we received another email, didn't we? Another shout out to a fabulous teacher.
Yeah, we did. But before we get to that, I think I just want to say, we can put that on the screen. That's fine. I was just going to start by thanking all of our subscribers, members, YouTube watchers, students, teachers, anybody associated with Craig and Dave, and anybody that uses Craig and Dave resources in the classroom, whether that's our videos for homework or whether it's our other resources that we provide. Just a huge thank you to everyone for supporting us during 2021. Obviously, we couldn't do it without you, so thank you very much. So in that vein, another shout out to Mrs. Pound this time from class 11D CS1, and you will know who you are if you're watching this. So again, one of your students wrote to us and said how much that they enjoy the lessons and you're making a difference to their learning and would like a shout out from us to you. And as we often say when we do these, we enjoy doing it because we like to make a difference to the students that we teach. And we know that we do make a difference way beyond our own classroom through our YouTube channel and the other things that we produce. But those resources are only as good as the teacher that is using them and is delivering them. So a huge thank you to Mrs. Pound and all the other great teachers out there for the work that you're doing. Your classes do appreciate you, even if they don't always articulate that, and even if they always moan about the the work that you're setting them.
Yeah, and we should let you know as well, Mrs. Pound, that this student reached out to us weeks ago. It was actually, they wanted us to celebrate, I believe, a milestone birthday. I won't say which age. It was a milestone birthday that you've had, but because we recorded a few of these in advance, we couldn't do it as a birthday shout out. So that's why they reached out, but they were very, very complimentary.
Yeah.
Right, well, let's have a look then, because every year we run this company, we are busier and busier, and it's quite nice to take stock of what we've done, but we've done a lot this year. So let's go right back to the start of the year. It feels like Smart Advanced has been out for ages. That was a big one, wasn't it? Smart Advanced.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when we started Smart Revise, we knew what we wanted to do with it. We knew the trajectory, but we just didn't have the development capacity to get all the features out quickly enough. And to be honest, we've still got a roadmap that stretches way into a couple of years' time, and there are so many great things that we want to do that it's just a question of capacity. But it does feel like Smart Advanced has been around for so long now. So that's the exam style questions in Smart Revise, and it was the one feature that people were really, really looking forward to. And of course, it had a fantastic reception because it's got the command word help in there, and it's got that sort of innovative guided marking mode that other pieces of software are now starting to copy. So absolutely, absolutely fantastic. Yeah, so a lot of work was happening obviously before February, in January in the previous year, preparing that, and an awful lot of time spent, writing original questions, because we're not allowed to use past paper questions. The exam board specifically and explicitly prohibit the use of their past paper questions in online platforms. You can put them in textbooks and things like that if you pay them a little fee, but no online platform is allowed to have real past paper questions in it, which is why you won't find that in any online product.
Even if you could, we were keen to write additional questions. Some of these courses, not necessarily the A level so much, but the GCSE, the new specs, they're still very new. People are like, well, please don't put all the past paper questions in Smart Revise, because now I can't use them as a mock. We wanted to provide additional content, additional questions, and that was so I think even if it had been available, Dave, we still would have written additional questions.
We would, and actually the content it will be increasing over time. I know we've been promising this, but we've been very busy working on new features, which has kind of taken a bit of a precedence. But yeah, we are going to be creating more content for Smart Revise, more exam style questions, and particularly algorithm questions, which we know everybody wants. And yeah, we've got some big plans for content drops in the future.
Right, so that was Smart Advance. Move on to March. Well, this series, here we are on episode, I don't know what it is now.
37,
is it? Right, wow. Here we are. Dave had been bugging me for quite some time, months, probably over a year actually, like, I think we should get into vlogging. I'm like, oh, look at you trying to be young and trendy, Dave. And I kind of put him off on it. I'm going to get into vlogging and let's do a weekly episode. And anyway, he finally, again, this feels like we've been in this forever. You finally convinced me to do Unscripted, and it has been a fun series. I mean, we've had some great guests on from our own developer, you know, guest speakers. I can't remember. Oh, the guy from Coding Rooms. That was a fascinating one. And the young lad, 16-year-old or 15-year-old Jack Rafferty, I want to say.
We always get this wrong. I'm just going to pull up the thumbnail. It's Jack Rafferty. It's me that gets it wrong. I keep thinking
I got it right. Yeah, it's been great, and also the opportunity just for us to have a bit of a giggle, interact with the audience. So that's another thing we started this year.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed it. But I mean, you had a goal, didn't you? There was a, and do you feel we've achieved that goal with this series?
Yeah, so I remember there was one thing that was annoying me, is that there was kind of a lot of sort of myths and rumors around Craig and Dave. You know, we were a bit sort of mysterious because obviously on our videos you could hear us talk, but you didn't really know who we were. Only our own classes really knew sort of who we were, and we're quite well known in the sort of Gloucestershire community of teachers, but beyond that nobody really knew who we were. And we keep getting emails all the time, you know, who's Craig, who's Dave, which one of you's Craig, which one of you's Dave, on this video who's doing the audio, and all and all this kind of stuff.
Are you actually the same person? No.
Yeah, and a lot of myths surrounding, you know, who we really were. And so I thought, well, I can put the myths to bed. That's one thing. And secondly, I was looking at our YouTube channel, and I couldn't understand why we had 24,000 subscribers. I mean, why would you want to subscribe to our YouTube channel? We get the fact you want to watch our videos for homework, make notes, do those sorts of things. We get that. But you only need a video playlist to do that. You don't need to subscribe to the channel. Why do you want to be notified the moment we drop a new video? I mean, because we don't drop them, or we weren't dropping them that often, because it was just course material. So when a new course came out, we would drop a ton of videos for that new course, and then, you know, there was no need to do other videos. So I couldn't understand why did we have 24,000 subscribers. And the thing that surprised me the most about Craig and Dave is just your genuine affection for us, and I just mean that in a very professional way, in the sense that, you know, we get bombarded with people saying thank you all the time for the content that we produce. No one thanks us for the audio quality or the production quality, because it's atrocious.
No, it's not.
But in terms of actually, you know, delivering content, giving teachers confidence, giving students what they need to be successful in exams, everyone's been really grateful for that. And I don't think we really anticipated that happening. And I thought, well, with 24,000 subscribers for no apparent reason, if we actually put our faces on a video and we talk about stuff, what would happen, you know? And I thought in my mind, if that increases to 30,000, that's probably really successful. And so we've now gone past 30,000 subscribers, and I'm thrilled. I mean, our ambition is not to get to, you know, 100,000 and get the little silver YouTube award or whatever it is, and then get to 1 million subscribers. That's not who we are. We're not influencers. We're not,
No.
social media magnates or anything like that. We don't want to be either. That's just not us. At the end of the day, we're computer science teachers doing something for students and teachers across the country, and that's really all this is about. So hey, if you want to have a little bit more interaction with Craig and Dave and see who we are, and listen to us talking about stuff, then the Unscripted series is for you. So
exactly.
Thank you.
Launched in March and closing in on upwards of 40 episodes. So there you go.
Yeah.
If you need a cure for insomnia over the Christmas holidays, you can go back and watch them. We talk about all sorts.
There are some good. There are some goodies in there, though. Apart from all our
yeah.
guest speakers, as you've said, we did talk about, for example, Windows 11 and some of the new features and what that would mean. And we talked about how to get the most out of Smart Revise.
Yeah.
We talked about effective revision techniques. That was a 3-part series. Girls in computing and ideas to get more girls involved in computing. What it takes to be a programmer. There's some really good episodes in there.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's been a fun series. So what else this year? Well, ongoing. There's not a kind of a month against this one because it's been ongoing. I think people who follow us regularly or have watched Unscripted know that we are contributors to the Isaac Computer Science platform. In fact, we had an episode where we have Laura Sash on from the NCCE. For those who aren't aware, the NCCE is the sort of major body of work funded by Department for Education money. Upwards of £80 million was assigned sort of almost 3 years ago now. Part of the work to really kind of accelerate the computing initiative across the country. They do a huge amount of stuff, and we've had a whole video on that in the past. But as part of that, they produced this Isaac Computer Science platform, and we've got it there. And some people are amazed that we're involved with that. I was like, hang on, that's a free question-based revision system. Free, isn't that direct competition? And it's like, but we've talked about this before, this idea of collaboration, and we actually produce little hint videos for them. So that's been ongoing throughout the year. Anything extra you wanted to say on that? We've carried on contributing to that, haven't we?
Yeah, it's another misconception that somehow, we're a huge company in direct competition with everybody else. And at the end of the day, we offer resources, that in a particular flavor that some teachers and students find useful. But there are many other publishers out there that produce some great stuff too, and we're happy to shout them out. Paul Long got some absolutely fantastic stuff, and if you're looking for an online digital textbook, then what he's got is amazing. PG Online, Rob at PG Online, we get on well with, and we think his textbooks are absolutely fantastic. And if you're looking for a simple revision guide, the Clear Revise textbooks you can't go wrong with. He's doing some great stuff, and there are loads of others that we could shout out as well. We are all in the business of trying to help students and teachers, but you need time to be able to produce these resources. And when you're teaching full time at school, you don't have time. And so you have to sell some of these resources, because if you sell resources, then you can then work less hours at school, and that gives you more time to produce more resources. And Craig and I used to be full-time teachers. We're now part-time teachers because we're able to sell some of these resources, which buys time. And that's really what that's about. So it's not, a huge, massive money-making empire. We're happy to support and shout out all the other publishers out there. We're all in it together. We're all trying to do the best for students and teachers in the classroom. And we all sell these things because that's what buys you the time. So. Yeah,
indeed. So June, revised schemes of learning. Worth me just spending a quick 30 seconds on this. So if you aren't aware, we do detailed long-term, medium-term and short-term schemes of learning. And on the short-terms one, they will give you lesson by lesson guidance, what the topic is, which of our materials to reference, which videos, key questions, learning objectives. And we realize there's a huge array of teachers out there from very experienced to maybe converts from other subjects to NQTs. And we know schemes of learning aren't for everyone. Schools will have their own formats. But in June, we went back and we revised all of them from the bottom up. So if you do have our old schemes of learning, it's definitely worth downloading them. Over the years, we add new resources, we tweak resources, we update videos, and things have started to come out of a line, or maybe it wasn't referencing the best resources or the newest resources. So painstakingly went through all the GCSE, all the A-level schemes of learning for all the examination specs we did, and kind of like just nipped and tucked them. It wasn't just a quick 5-minute job. So if you haven't used them, they're there. And we provide schemes of learning in a few different models, by the way, if people weren't aware. So we do a 1 and a 2 week version for GCSE, and for A-level, we do a linear 2-year A-level, a 2-year A-level where you deliver the AS in the first year and then the additional content for the third and the second year, and we do an AS only calendar. So we know no single scheme of learning will fit a particular school, but there's a lot of work there. And if you're holding on to old versions and you like them, pop onto your premium subscription and download the new versions. So that was a major body of work we did in June.
It's worth saying, actually, because we do get emails from time to time. We get at least a couple a month that come in that say, I can't find this resource, or I don't seem to have the answers for that particular exercise, and these sorts of emails. And it's always because the teacher is using an old version of the resource and we've changed it, and it kind of does get out of line. When you go to our premium resources as a Craig and Dave member teacher, you'll see little tags on the tiles that tell you when that content was last updated. And we realize you're really busy and you can't be spending every week looking at the tiles and deciding whether there's new content to download. And that might disrupt what you were planning anyway. What we advise is at least once a year. So in the sort of August holidays, sort of middle of August holidays, just take a fresh download of everything if you can, and use that, and you'll know that you've got the most recent version of the resources. Because as Craig says, all the way through the year we make tweaks and changes and adaptations and add new things, but every time we get to the summer holiday, we often reflect then on what we've got, the schemes of learning and everything else, and we do the nipping and tucking to make sure that things are aligned. So if you're only going to do it once a year, in the August holiday, download a new copy of our resources.
And actually, you actually reminded me there, Dave, another thing we did this year to facilitate that and to make that easier. And in this year, we've created bigger downloads. So if you go in, let's say you're an OCR J277 subscriber, there's a Unit 1 download and a Unit 2 download. So you no longer have to go in and say, oh, I need to download a new 1.1, 1.2, you can just download Unit 1. So I double down on what Dave said, during those later half of the summer holidays, or I teach A-level, you will be able to download 2 downloads, Unit 1, Unit 2. You have to download 26 separate downloads. If you're keeping more on top of it, then you'll notice all the individual units, as Dave said, have tags on. So you go, oh, they've put some new stuff in databases. I'll grab a fresh version. But we have made that easier as well. And we make sure those downloads, the big downloads, are updated every time one of the smaller ones gets like a mini update.
And there are incremental changes, and then there are some fundamental changes. So if you take something like, off the top of my head, I think SLR 14 for the OCR A-level, we completely rewrote it. The database unit, I think it's SLR 11 off the top of my head, we completely rewrote it. And so we do little incremental changes, and then we do big changes as well. And I do realize it's hard to kind of keep on top of what we're doing, but just know that we're always moving forward. We don't just produce a set of resources, put it out in the field, and that's it until a new specification comes along. We're always reflecting, we're using these resources in our own classrooms, and so we're able to then adapt them as necessary based on our experience and some of the feedback that we get from you as well. So at least once a year, download the new material. If you can do it more frequently than that, for example, if you're about to teach the next unit, just spend a couple of minutes maybe going onto our website just to see if there's a new version of that unit before you embark on teaching it. That would be a good idea. And you probably only need to do that once a month or so. Now, I do realize this is cumbersome if you've got a virtual learning environment, or you're using OneNote or Google Classroom or anything like this, where you take our resources and then you put them onto another platform, because I realize that there is, quite a lot of sort of additional work involved in that, trying to make sure that you take old copies down and new copies up and reformat them into your style and all the rest of it. It is problematic, but I think once a year would be a good thing. And I know we're going to get emails as a result of this saying, oh, can you please do OneNote versions? Can you please do, Google Classroom versions, etc. We just don't have the capacity. And it sounds like an excuse, but it's just Craig and I. It is two people doing these resources, and we teach. I don't have time to give you OneNote versions of all the resources as well. So we put them in a PowerPoint format because it should be easier to get them out into different formats from there. So that's the best we can do, I'm afraid.
I'm just going to squash a misconception here. So a lot of people think Craig and Dave Premium Resources is a subscription service. It's not a subscription service. And what I mean by that is, yes, when a school buys a membership to our Premium Resources, they get 1 year access. But anything they download, they have a lifetime license for. Where, like many other publishers out there, you buy something and you download it and you have it and you can use it for life. So why is it a subscription that lasts a year? What a Craig and Dave subscription gives you is access to our premium members area for a year. And as Dave has made very clear, and we've alluded to here, our resources are not static. We promise to constantly reflect on our resources, the depth, the detail, the quality, in light of our own classroom experience, your feedback, past examiners' reports, etc., etc. And we are constantly tweaking and improving. And as you guys will know, we're always adding brand new things, like the My Little Extras pack we did not too long ago, new programming resources. So what the subscription gives you is, for the length of that, you've always got access to the latest material. Anything new we do, there's no extra cost. It is free. Once that subscription ends, then what you've downloaded is static at that point. And we get that some teachers go, you know what, I'm happy now. And we do see a lot of schools go, I'll pop back and see what Craig and Dave have done. No, I'm going to leave it. They leave it 2 or 3 years and go, oh, okay. Yeah, they've released a brand new major programming unit. They've released a My Little Extras pack. I'm going to buy another year's subscription so I can grab all the new stuff. So although we do sell a subscription package, it's access to all the latest stuff we do at no extra cost. Anything you get from us is a free lifetime license for your institution. And in that respect, we're no different to a lot of other publishers. So I just wanted to clear up that, which sometimes a bit of a misconception there. All right, let's move on to September. Another major feature for Smart Revise, Smart Tasks. This one I've been really impressed with, and we're still rapidly developing and pushing out features for this as we speak, sort of every 4 to 6 weeks. Do you want to talk a little bit about that one, Dave?
Just to say that we knew that Smart Advanced, the exam style questions, was the most requested feature at the time. And of course, as soon as you had that, people were then asking for a way of being able to select particular questions, set them for homework and tests and all this kind of thing. And so Smart Tasks that enables you to do that is an evolution of Smart Advanced. And we're really, really proud of it. It is taking the product in a slightly different direction to how we originally envisaged it, because we did see it as a tool for students to help their revision. And the whole teacher aspect of that sort of came later, and it's sort of evolving now into definitely a course companion, but not just for students, but for teachers as well. And we're increasingly creating what I would refer to as a sandbox system, where we're going to give you a lot of tools to do various things, and then how you use those tools are completely up to you as a teacher. So, for example, if you want to start all your lessons, with a 10-question quiz, and you want all the students doing the same questions, you can do that with tasks. If you want your students to start every lesson with 10 questions that's personalized and differentiated to them, then you use quiz. And if you want to use tasks for an end of topic test, you can, if you want to use it for a single discussion question in class, you can. And so we're increasingly now creating this sandbox system. And that's problematic, I will say, because we do have a vision of how the system should be used in order to match the educational psychology and the best educational practice and pedagogy. And so there is a way of using it to get the most out of it. But that isn't the only way of using it, and there are many paths to success. And it's getting increasingly difficult now when teachers are saying, how should I use Smart Revise? Because there are so many things you can do with it. But I would say that on the Smart Revise website, we do have sort of best practice, if you like. If you follow all the links and you go to the various modes and the descriptions of those modes, at the bottom of those pages, you'll have sort of best practice pieces, and it tells you how to get the most out of quiz, out of terms, out of advanced tasks, and all those kinds of things. So it's all there. But yeah, smart tasks, it's huge, and it's ongoing, and we have so much more that we want to do with smart tasks. In many ways, we're kind of still at the beginning of smart tasks rather than approaching the end. Really exciting.
October, well, that saw us do a major revamp of Telium, which is our text-based adventure game. Now, for those who don't know, this is packaged and bundled under our GCSE downloads for either OCR, AQA or EdXL. It's also available separately under the programming resources online. So if you're A-level only, you may not have come across it, but you may like to dig it out. It was originally designed as a way of doing an extended, I guess, NEA style project. You've taught your GCSE students all the basics, input and outputs and subroutines and reading and writing to a file. But now what you want is a bigger, more coherent, substantial project. Here's a scenario. It's going to take all these skills and we're going to guide them through it. Now, we've had this for a while, but we gave it a major revamp this year, and we actually got it was a very fun day. We got to actually road test it, if you like, with our own students at Stroud High. This is a photo that actually went up to Twitter, so it's full permission here to share this photo. So there's Dave looking happy and me looking very serious. I think I'm posing. But we actually tested this though, and it's had a complete revamp from the bottom up. So those of you who use this will be aware all you got was a series of sort of word-based handouts, and you handed them out each time students completed a stage, and it stretched them for the next stage, and that was it. Well, we've completely revamped it. There's an entire PowerPoint using all our professional, which can be used to effectively lead the entire project now from the front of the class. I mean, this is an extended project. We did it in an intensive sort of deep learning day. We had the entire day from start to finish, Dave and I in the classroom all day. But if you were doing this in a traditional way, this could be a nice project that spans sort of 6 to 8 lessons towards the end of the year. Be done as an after school club. But now we provide, as I say, this detailed PowerPoint that takes the teacher through, or takes the class and the teacher through each stage, introduces it. The handouts are still there, but they've been fully revamped using our new time approach, because they were this was a resource which Dave generated long before we did time. So again, these resources are there and they're fully timed. There's the try, all the investigates there with questions for the students, and then we've got to make and evaluate. So it's had a complete facelift from bottom to top. So we tried it with our classes. It's just finished as the point of this video going at the point of this video going live. It's just finished like a professional edit in QA. So I'll be packaging that up, and you should expect that to be in your premium download, as I said, completely free at no extra cost, early in the new year. So that was something we committed to in October.
Yeah, and just a couple of things. If you're not familiar with the whole Telium thing, then please have a look at it. I think you're going to like it. But just as a bit of an overview, okay, so it's a text adventure game that's in a number of objectives. And one of the problems you've got as a teacher when you want to do a more substantial project is that it feels really daunting to the students, and you're going to get students that get stuck and they have barriers and hurdles and they don't know how to get to the next stage. And that's very problematic, because if you've planned a sort of sample project that's got, say, 6 stages in it, and the students get stuck at stage 2 and they can't do stage 3 unless they've done stage 2, then you've got a major problem in your classroom, because how do the students make progress? And they just stall and stop. And we thought really carefully about that. And so with Telium, the students can't get stuck, because each objective, although it builds on the previous objective and it adds more code into the game, each objective isn't reliant on you doing the exercises in the previous objective. So that's really elegant and quite unique, because it means that you could start all students on objective 1, and some of the students do the extension work and the other bits and pieces. Then you can start all the students on objective 2, and what they did in objective 1 is not reliant for success in objective 2, and again in objective 3 and objective 4. So at a very, very simplistic level, I guess for the weakest students, it just becomes a sort of put this code into Python IDE and give it a run. What does it do? Can you play that part of the game? Can you do some testing on it? Maybe that would be quite an easy skill for them to do. And then objective 2 is, right, now put all this code into the game, give it another run, give it a test. Does it do what it should do? And then objective 3 and objective 4. So even the weakest students in the class can make progress, and they can get a working game at the end of it, having not done any of the additional exercises that are required. And then flip that on its head, your most able students, there are challenges in there that will really stretch them to A level. And none of those little extensions that they do will impact the working of the next objective. So you can go really deep in one objective and really shallow in another objective, and it won't matter. So your most able students can produce something really special by the end, and your weakest students can produce something that just works and is tested. But they both students have had a good learning experience, and nobody got stuck. And that's the critical thing.
And I can't believe I didn't mention this. One thing we also did as part of the Telium revamp is there is a detailed teacher guide. So this is just for the teacher. We fully appreciate there's a wide range of teachers out there, and some feel less confident with the programming aspects, especially if you have kids who are high flying. We've all had those tricky questions. So this is a detailed teacher guide. Not only does it provide you with all the answers, we can see that, we won't zoom in, provide you with all the answers to all the questions, but it actually unpicks some of the harder bits of code, here you go, and explains what's going on, so that you can feel confident about the code that we've written. Like, what was it Craig and Dave have written there? What's it actually doing? If you're not sure, we explain it. But then, of course, that provides you with additional discussion notes with the class. So we have a detailed teacher guide there, which we didn't have before. So for those maybe feeling slightly less supported with this, maybe you don't feel quite as confident in the programming aspects of the course, that is now also available with version 2.
Yeah, it's really unique. I'm really proud of it, because it takes ages to actually develop something that is suitable for your weakest students and your strongest students all in the same class at the same time. That's a real challenge, and something that you want to be able to lead from the front. Yeah. Or you want something that they can do independently, either in the classroom or outside of the classroom. And the Telium Text Adventure project is unique in that it ticks all of those boxes. And
that's it.
We don't think yeah.
Right. We'll bring us up to November. Model answer videos. I don't think these are these actually live, or are we holding them all back? They are.
They're live. Yeah. So a bit of context here. So since September, we have been producing, well, we haven't, Craig and I haven't. We've got a great chap called Gavin, actually. We're a little bit jealous of Gavin because he lives in the Isle of Wight and he looks out to sea. So we are mildly jealous of that. But But we got a chap called Gavin, who is taking every single exam style question that we've got in Smart Revise, so all the advanced questions, and he's creating a short sort of 2-3 minute model answer video for each of those questions that talks about a little bit about the exam technique and what you should be putting in your answer. It highlights the command words, it highlights what you might write in your answer so it can match the mark scheme. And these are fantastic. And at the moment we've got 70 already uploaded and integrated into Smart Revise, so 70 model answer videos. I've got another batch of 10 that I need to work on this week. That'll bring it up to 80. And we will just produce a model answer video for every single question. We've started with OCRJ 277 GCSE because that's the most popular course that we've got in Smart Revise, so it seemed to make some sense to do that first. But we will do the AQA ones, we will do the EdXL ones, and I'm hoping we will do the A-level ones as well. And that will continue to roll out. And every new advanced question that we produce going forward will then have a model answer video to go with it as well. Now, the model answer videos might not be obvious in the platform at the moment because they're in the references section. So you answer a question and you get to see the references, and you can click on there to see the model answer video. And we'll probably at some point in the next year look at how we can make those a little bit more obvious. If a teacher wants the students to be able to access model answer videos, just to kind of make those a little bit more obvious in the platform. But we have got 70 in there already. Yeah,
brilliant. And then up to right up to date, up to December. Well, yeah, you're right. Most of December has been planning for BETT. So as we alluded to in previous videos, we will be attending the BETT show in January. Dates are just up there, 19th to the 21st. It'll be our first time there. So most of this month has been set aside with planning for the show, applying for various awards. Oh, we're allowed to officially say now as well, aren't we? We have been... We have what? We're allowed to.
Oh, we have, because we've put the banner on our website, so people will be aware of it. But we'll talk more about it in a future episode. But
yeah, we'll talk more. Okay, we'll talk all about it in a future episode. That is true. We're going to do an episode, I think, the week before we go to BETT. So we'll save that. We've been here for 36 minutes. But yeah, it's been a busy year, but it's been fun. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and as Dave said, I think the biggest thing for me in this whole video is just to say it. Thank you to all the students, all the teachers that use us, the nice words you say and send out. This is the reason we started it. Hey, happy Christmas. I've got a thing about that, by the way. I mustn't go off. I think it's Merry Christmas because I think it's happy birthday. You don't do Merry Birthday. It's happy birthday and Merry Christmas. There are going to have people shouting at the monitor now.
So pleasing some people.
Is it scone or scone? Right, on that note, a big Merry Christmas from myself.
Yeah, and from me, Dave.
You can so tell it's
we didn't plan this. I don't.
That's why it's called Unscripted. Yeah, Merry Christmas from us. Our next video then will be on the 10th of January in the new year. We're going to take a bit of a break, and we hope you have a well-deserved one as well. Take care.
Yeah, because although we normally queue them up in advance, we were at the end of the road here. So yeah, we're not going to record another one until 10th of January. So
cheers.
Yeah.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.